You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, attorney Howard Calleja, who was the first to file their petition before the Supreme Court. Attorney, welcome to the show. Good to see you again.
Yes, good morning, Pinky. Good morning to your televiewers and good morning, Philippines. Sa inyong lahat.
Kayo nga po ang nauna, over the weekend pa lang, you filed this electronically. And then yesterday, Monday, you filed this before the Supreme Court. Everyone is saying, when you look at all the four groups, there's a lot of common areas that you are opposing. But let's talk about this. What is supposed to be the definition of terrorism? What makes it, to you, broad and vague?
Yun na nga. If you look at Section 4, it's very broad and vague kasi sinasabi doon na what is terrorism? Sinabi doon, for example, meron Section A doon na sinasabi anybody who commits harm or bodily harm. So it's very broad kasi it can be physical injuries, can be homicide, can be murder. Then who would identify if what you did is terrorism in effect? So it would be the ATC. Or meron din doon, let's say, sinasabing another section there. In Section 4, another paragraph there is saying, if you do damage or physical damage or property damage to the government facilities and or private facilities. For example, nasira mo yung bakod ng kapitbahay mo, ibig bang sabihin yun, terrorist ka na? And they can label you as a terrorist because if you look at it, counter to Section 54 of the bill, of the law, sinasabi na that the ATC can designate you as a terrorist. So wala naman sinasabi doon kung paano. That's why we're saying it's very broad. It's all encompassing because any act actually can be classified as a terrorist if the ATC classifies you as a terrorist. For example, another example is katulad niya, nag-uusap tayo, Pinky, o nasa internet tayo. If you write anything internet, social media, if you say something against the government or somebody, some person in the government, if they say that it is terrorism in effect, pwede ka na naman nilang hulihin. So that is the problem of this vague and overbroad definition. Anybody or anything you do can be considered a terrorist as long as the ATC says so.
Of course, the ATC is composed of cabinet secretaries led by the executive secretary. I just want to bring this in, as I did attorney kay Congressman Ed Selagman. Kaya lang sinasabi nga dito, maliban doon sa acts of terrorism, provided that terrorism does not include advocacy, protest, dissent, stoppage of work, industrial mass action. But here's where Congressman Ed Selagman says, this kills this particular provision. Pag sinabi ng which are not intended to cause death or serious physical harm to a person, to endanger a person's life, or to create a serious risk to public safety. Do you agree, sir?
Yun ang problema dito because as I said, it is at the end of the day, whatever they write, whatever they say, the interpretation, which is broad, is dependent upon the ATC. To me, that is the problem there. And also, if you look at the power of the ATC, once it defines or what it classifies you as a terrorist or terrorist organization, then it can use now Section 29, which says that you can be, upon notice of the ATC, you can be the law enforcement officers or authorities can hold you into custody, put you in detention for 14 days plus an additional extension of another 10 days. So sabi ko, yun ang problema dito. Kasi since it is overbroad, anybody na lang or anything, any act, anybody and anything can be considered a terrorist or terrorist act.
Yeah. Yung Section 29, let me read that, attorney. No? The provision of Article 125 of the Revised Penal Code, to the contrary, notwithstanding, any law enforcement agent or military personnel who have been duly authorized in writing by the ATC has taken custody of a person suspected of committing any of the acts defined under Sections 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So basically, yun po sinasabi nyo, attorney, pag sinabi ng ATC na hulihin ka, inauthorize ang pulis na hulihin ka dahil nakategorize ka na terorista, that gives them the authority to get you and detain you for 24 days.
That's the problem, Pinky. Kasi nga kahit anong sabihin pa nilang safeguard, at the end, it would be the ATC that would, let's say, define or authorize the, as you said, law enforcement agent. It's very clear.
Right.
Sabi ko, if you look at Section 29, there's no question in that section. Even a layman can understand that the ATC, upon notice, can immediately authorize the law enforcement officers to put you into custody for 24 days. And if you look at it, you already read it, Pinky, Section 133 notwithstanding, yan yung mga warrantless arrest, yan yung you have to be uh, being charged with the crime within 3 days. Pag sinabing notwithstanding, hindi mo susundin yung kailangan kasuhan ka ng 3 days. Ito, 24 days, wala ka pang kaso, nakakulong ka. Anong gagawin natin? There's no recourse. That's the problem here. You are being accused, being detained, being jailed for 24 days without a crime.
All right, Attorney, we just need to take a very short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Source. Our guest today, Attorney Howard Calleja. Attorney, pagka sinabi po sa inyo o sinabi sa atin ng mga otoridad na kung wala ka namang ginagawang masama, huwag ka matakot. Kung di ka naman terorista, huwag ka matakot. Ang matatakot lang dito ay yung totoong terorista.
Pinky, just the other day, I heard the Secretary Esperon saying that the ones filing in the court are supporters of terrorists or terrorists themselves. Secretary Esperon is part of the ATC. Wala pa nga yung anti-terrorism council. See, that's what the problem is. They can define it. They can consider you as such. Me, I'm doing a constitutional duty, a civic duty to file a case. And I'm bringing it to the proper forum, which is the Supreme Court. And then I hear that the ones bringing the case are considered as terrorists. How can that be reassuring that hindi kami matatakot? Hindi ako natatakot and hindi ako terorista. But I'm saying is, it is so easy for them to define one as such. Paano pa si Juan de la Cruz na walang kalaban-laban? Yun ang problema dito, Pinky, because anybody can be defined as such. And there's no judicial recourse within that 24 days na sinasabi natin.
And Attorney, who do you think is supposed to determine this? If a person is a terrorist or not? Or who should authorize the police to arrest a person because that person is a suspect?
Yes. Under our law, Pinky, only the judge can issue a warrant of arrest. I understand also there are under our laws that warrantless arrests are allowed. And I agree with that. However, it is only allowed when there is an actual crime being committed or you are in pursuit of a crime that has been committed. Pero dito, under the law,
right,
you are only suspected and yet wala pang nangyayari. Suspected ka lang o meron pa nga dito mas masama, intent to commit. Mas masama pa yun because wala ka pang ginagawa. Intent lang. It's all in your mind. Nobody can even read your mind unless they can say somebody can read your mind. Then they can say that you are already being detained or being jailed for the crime that you don't even know. That's the problem here. The safeguards, as I said, na sinasabi nila, there are no safeguards here because the safeguards is the Constitution, Pinky. That's why we are fighting for it in the Supreme Court because the safeguard is the Constitution. If you remove the Constitution, if your law is not consistent with the Constitution, there are no safeguards.
Attorney, very last question, sir. Are you questioning this legally, obviously legally, because of its unconstitutional provisions? And are you also questioning it because you do not trust possibly the people who will be implementing this?
No, it's not a matter of trust, Pinky. It's not a matter of fear because this law and the Constitution can last our lifetime, even our children's children. The point is here, we are fighting for the Constitution and the rule of law. The law as it is written is unconstitutional and it is oppressive. I understand we have to fight terrorism. I am not in favor of terrorism. I want to fight terrorism, but we have to fight it with the proper law, not with a law that is inconsistent with the Constitution.
All right. Thank you, Attorney Howard Calleja. Take care, sir.
Thank you, and God bless.
And thank you for joining us here on The Source. Thank you. Thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.